right, Sports Talker Nation, welcome back once again. It's your host, the G-Man, as we continue with our 2016 NFL Draft preview with a positional breakdown. Today we're going to talk about the last of our skill position players as we talk about the wide receivers available in the upcoming draft. I think it's a decent, not great class, and I'm going to give you my top five. Again, a reminder, these are my top five. These are not Mike Mayock's. These are not Mel Kiper's. These are not Todd McShay's. These are my own personal favorites. Make of that what you will. Number one is Will Fuller. I think Will Fuller has taken kind of a beating for some drops, and it's 100% true. He does drop the ball occasionally. That said, I think he's the cream of the crop, and I'm an anti-Golden Domer. I am not a Notre Dame fan, but I hear worries about his drops, etc. He is fast, he is explosive, and he made big play after big play, and he did it against big-time competition. They didn't run a trinkety offense per se. Teams knew he was going to get the ball deep, and he still was able to beat them deep. He was playing with a backup quarterback. I think he has a future as a Pro Bowler in this league. I consider him like a Dez Bryant. He's not quite as big as Dez Bryant, but Dez Bryant had the same questions, right? He dropped the ball a little bit. But that said, you can get over that, or you can actually learn a little better concentration. You can't teach the skill set that Will Fuller has outside of that. So he's my number one. Number two, this is going to come as a big surprise to people, but wouldn't have if you watched college football and saw him 2 years ago. And that's Tyler Boyd from Pitt. You haven't heard anybody mention him because his stock has dropped and dropped since an explosive freshman year. Mostly because he either shifted the offense and they became more run heavy. He had some attitude problems, allegedly. I don't know that. I wasn't there in the room. But I flat out think he's a stud. He has speed, he has power. When he gets the ball in his hands, he runs like a running back. He did special teams. Sometimes he ran the ball 5-6 times a game. I love his talent. I will take talent with some questions about attitude and adjust that attitude as I go through any day of the week. He reminds me of Amari Cooper. Same build, same physicality. I think he's got the same kind of upside. Number three is Laquan Treadwell. It sounds like a shot to put him three because everybody thinks he is a transcendent talent. I think he's pretty good. There's a ton of questions about his speed. The guy didn't even run at the combine, and on his pro day, where they are notoriously fast tracks and they make them as comfortable as possible, and the numbers are usually considered inflated, he ran a 4.63. That is not very fast for a wide receiver. That said, he is monstrous, and he specializes in big plays because he's pretty good in space. I can see him being used a lot like Demaryius Thomas on bubble screens, back shoulder throws, etc. And I could see him being like Kelvin Benjamin and getting double digits even though he doesn't have speed to separate. He can use his body to separate. I wouldn't take him as a top 5 pick. I wouldn't take him as a top 10 pick, but I do think he's a hell of a player. Number 4 is Corey Coleman, and this is a guy I'm not as sold on as others. I don't like guys who play in systems that inflate their numbers. He did. Mike Evans is about the only guy who's ever come from one of those type of systems that I traditionally that I liked, and he wound up doing what you would expect him to do, and that was because of his size and speed. Coleman doesn't have that size. He's a home run hitter. He strikes me as a guy who runs decent routes, and he seems like a smart, industrious kid. But I'm not ready to hitch my wagon to a star as early as I think he'll have to go. If I can get him in the second round, I love him as a pick. A modern-day comp for me is like a T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton has bloomed into a hell of a player, and if Coleman can do that, then that's a great place for him to go. But I think he's got a long way to go to get there. Last of my top 5, again, probably a surprise. I'm all over the map with wide receivers because I really watch and I see how they play. It's not about, to me, just the measurables. It's Braxton Miller. Braxton Miller shifted from quarterback this year for both himself and for his team, and it worked for both. As he learns the position, I think being a quarterback previously helps him a lot, but as he learns the nuances of the position, I think he's going to become a slot nightmare for teams. I do think he can actually play on the outside, but immediately I think in the slot with his elusiveness, he's going to be a real problem, a matchup problem for other teams. I think he's probably going to fall as far as the 3rd round, and if he does, he will be a coup. I would love for the Eagles to take him and make him into my Randall Cobb for the next 10 years. I love Braxton Miller, did it against big-time competition, moved all over the field, and he's just a playmaker, and you can never have enough playmakers. So that's it for me for my top 5. The next few in order: Michael Thomas from Ohio State. Played more of the traditional wide receiver role, big, strong, fast. I think he is... he lost a lot of reps and credit to his talent around him. I think he's a good player. Josh Toxin, Earlier in the year, he probably would have been a top 15 pick. His size doesn't dictate that. He's very fast, and I think he can get open and be a home run hitter, but I don't think he's going to light the world on fire. Sterling Shepard, same deal. Not big at all. He did everything for Oklahoma, so I actually think he can play on the outside, but his size is a severe limitation, though he will help you in special teams. And DeMarcus Ayers from Houston. Big, strong, looks like a guy who should be able to dominate every play, drops the ball constantly. He worries me. Concentration worries me. So those are your top 10. If you want to take a look at who I have as all the first 4-round worthy wide receivers, please feel free to go look at our blog under the G-Man Draft Spectacular. But for now, that's your 2016 NFL Draft Preview of wide receivers. I'm your host, the G-Man, and I am out.